Hello, good afternoon. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. I really think I have a very difficult task this afternoon to keep your attention after the so amazing talks of this morning. I was particularly impressed, so thanks a lot already to the Belgian presidency to have put forward this event. So it's an honor for me to open this plenary session on partnerships, where we will explore their transformative nature and potential. In a nutshell, European health partnerships do enable the research, collaboration, and action that are required to shape the future of healthcare in Europe. But they also allow us to address the challenges that are posed by the new technologies. So let's first look into the benefits that we hope these instruments will deliver. First of all, the most important is the collaboration. They foster collaboration between all the relevant stakeholders. Let's talk about regulators, let's talk about academia, industry, infrastructures, member states. All these actors are bring together in order to collaborate around these different challenges and opportunities. They also promote innovative and evidence-based health policies and best practices, and they do their best, they aim also to reduce health inequalities by ensuring equitable access to innovation, contribute to the harmonization and to the dissemination of health standards. And last, and very important, well, last, no, there could be many other benefits, but those that I wanted to put the light on, is that they also increase the research efficiency, because they coordinate in research efforts, they build synergies, developing synergies, and they also allow to avoid overlaps. And I think this is extremely important, because we have heard this morning how much it's still to be done. So we cannot allow to lose energy and resources by duplicating efforts. So in our opinion, they provide the firepower to tackle common health challenges. And today, this afternoon, we are going to have different representatives of some of them that will tell us more about how they harness the power of innovation. Let's think about EP-Permed, the new co-fund on personalized medicine that is developing a real European personalized medicine ecosystem, supporting the entire value chain from joint research funding to translating research into clinical applications. When we look at the future, it is clear that new breakthroughs will increasingly involve cross-sectorial discoveries, such as combination of different technologies, drugs and medical devices, artificial intelligence-based diagnostics, and this is the natural space of the Innovative Health Initiative, the public-private partnership between the European Commission and the health industry that Joanna already mentioned this morning. So these are just two examples of amongst many. And it's very important, and I would like to thank again the Belgian presidency to have put forward this panel, because it's very important that all these initiatives thought together, align, collaborate as much as possible. And they should collaborate not only between them, but also with the bigger landscape of research and innovation projects at national and also at European level. And let me mention some examples of our collaborative research projects that we are funding through Horizon Europe Cluster 1. A lot of projects that are also contributing to build a future state-of-art in health technologies. I would like to mention, for example, Virtual Brain Twin, that is currently developing virtual brain twins to optimize medication type and dosage for mental health patients. And we know how it is extremely challenging to find the right treatment and the right dosage in this area. Also, another very interesting project, iTobos, that is currently developing an artificial intelligence diagnosis platform to accurately detect melanoma as early as possible. And it's doing it so by building a novel total body scanner with various data sources to offer a risk assessment for every mole. And last, a project on ovarian cancer, Decider project, whose aim is to identify as early as possible those patients who do not respond well to first-line treatments, with a view to find effective treatments for them. This is just a very few examples about the importance also to collaborate with the landscape of research and innovation projects. We are regularly putting forward topics, and increasingly we ask them to work in clusters to ensure that they optimize their impact and also build synergies. So I would invite also to be very attentive to what is coming from those areas. So the ecosystem is very, very big, and not only as regards Horizon Europe or research programs, but also as regards other programs that are more focused on implementation and deployment, like EU for Health. And that's why I'm happy as well that in today's panel, in today's session, we will have also representatives from what I often call a joint action, even if it is not really a joint action, but acts as it, because it's extremely important that they are also brought into the picture. And the reason is that scientific evidence alone, even if brilliant, will not be sufficient to improve health outcomes. We need to join forces and make sure that the research carried out and the innovations emerging will actually be put in practice. And all actors, we are convinced that all actors can and must play an important role in this transition. And you can count on us. I think that the past proves our commitment to continue research and, in this important area. And we are living exciting times. I mean, it has already been discussed a lot about the European health data space. It was a real success, and that in the context of this presidency, the regulation, the compromise was found. So this is going to really change the landscape for clinical research. Let's also think about the focus on the biotechnology, the recent communication that was adopted by the Commission. This is also going to bring, I hope, a lot of attention to this area. So, to finish, let me just ask all of us to play our role so that the future we are dreaming of becomes as quickly as possible our present. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the Belgian presidency for inviting me and for the opportunity to present. So really what I'd like to talk about very quickly is how we can actually drive research in very tight partnership with industry in the health arena, and I think this is really important. We talked about the European health data space this morning, we talked about many other technologies, and really I think the driver here is how do we shape sort of the future development of the European landscape so that the healthcare system, the civil actors in society, but also industry all have a voice and co-develop this landscape. So I'd like to take you through a little bit how we go about this in Innovative Health, or IHI. So really, we are a funding instrument under Horizon Europe, as mentioned by Joanna and Drake this morning, and by Carmen. And our purpose really is to look and support and fund projects that deliver health innovation over the entire spectrum of care. And so we take a very broad view on this. It's all the way from prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and the long-term sort of management of disease. And we do this in areas where we say an unmet public health need. And so we take quite a broad view on that sort of the need from the healthcare systems. But it's not only about doing research. I think the second objective is to make sure that that research is turned into benefit. And so that means that we particularly welcome pilots and efforts that involve different actors from the healthcare systems to make sure that our projects actually can be taken up in practice. And we do this with industry, and we do this with the explicit aim of making sure that there is a globally competitive health industry sector in Europe, and so that's part of our remit. We are a public-private partnership, and we build on quite a long history. So before the Innovative Health Initiative, there was the Innovative Medicines Initiative. And so this has been running for close to 14 years. And actually, we have a legacy portfolio of almost 200 projects. There will be a cake very soon for the 200th project. But really the difference with the Innovative Health Initiative in this latest incarnation is that it's broadened out the industry participation from the pharmaceutical industry to actually span all of the health industries in Europe. And I think this is really reflecting the convergence of these different technologies for health research. If you think of management of disease or understanding diseases, you now also have quite a lot of imaging biomarkers, but you also have the devices, the wearables, and how do we actually get all of these different technologies to come together? And I think that's really the space where we would like to be as an initiative. And so with that, we have the industry members is COSIR, and I saw Ursula somewhere here, a representative from that. But that's the large imaging and radiology manufacturers. We have FPA, which is the pharmaceutical industry. We have Europa Bio, which is Europe's small and medium-sized biotechs, so linking to the biotech initiative that Carmen just mentioned. And we have medical technologies, the device and diagnostics manufacturers, and of course the vaccines manufacturers of Europe. So we're trying to really bring together the whole of the European health industry. And then on the public side, we are supported by the European Commission, and the public funding is part of Horizon Europe. And so I think I said this, but this was a little presentation of our industry associations. Move on. So we are a funder, and we have a significant budget, I would say. So we have, from the public side, it's invested 1.2 billion euros over the whole Horizon Europe from the European Commission through the Horizon Europe Health Cluster. Our industry partners are contributing in kind, and I'll come back to why I think this is really important. And then we also have provision to bring in other funders, charitable funders, or large international organizations, and I'll give an example in a few minutes. But really, I think what sets IHI apart is that each and every one of our projects is a public-private partnership. So it's not only the funding program, it's every project is a public-private partnership. And they consist of public organizations and SMEs funded by the European Commission funding. So the public funding, this can be research organizations, can be patient groups, there can be healthcare providers, it can be regulators. We have quite a lot of work with regulators. We have the industry members from which are companies who are member of any of these industry associations, and as I said, it can be contributing partners. But this is how every project looks like. This is the value. And if we look at one of our projects that just kicked off in Alzheimer, it's called AD Riddle. They are looking to test a whole range of new Alzheimer prevention, diagnosis and treatments regimens within a number of healthcare systems, but also then to do health technology assessment of those treatments. If you look at the consortia, it consists of industry, so you have neuroscience technology providers, you have pharma providers, you have companies specializing in digital health and in vitro diagnostics. We also here have Gates Ventures, so international investments and philanthropic organizations coming in. If we look at the non-profit organizations or civil society, we have things like the different Alzheimer initiatives. We have the Davos Alzheimer's initiative. We have Alzheimer's Europe, but we also have public bodies such as NICE, who's doing health technology assessment. And then, of course, from academia and healthcare, we have a number of leading universities and healthcare systems. And actually, the whole consortium is coordinated by one of the Swedish regions. So the healthcare provider is not a university, but it's actually the healthcare region, which is the coordinating body. So I think for me, this is really an archetype of what we want to do. We want to bring together all of these actors, both to develop novel technologies, but actually also to make sure that those technologies are tested in practice. And when we do that, it should also benefit European industry and put the European industry in a strong competitive position globally. So just a few other, and I think that's really what we're trying to offer out as the value for the industry. There can be some catalytic investment. If we think of AD Riddle, but we can think of many of the biomarker projects that we've been running for personalized or precision medicine. Typically, those projects bring together somewhere between 5 and 10 companies. Each of the company invests maybe, say, 1 million for argument's sake. and then we double that with public funding. And so for putting in 1 million, you get to run a 20 million euro biomarker validation project, including a clinical study. And that's proven to be both very effective and very attractive. And so we have a number of these biomarkers who've been going through various stages of regulatory approval with the EMA, so letters of support or a qualified biomarker opinion. So that's a lot of what we do, sit in that sort of catalytic investment space, or really de-risking some of the work that is needed for personalized medicine. But I think another really interesting one is expertise sharing. If I look back at our projects and what we have funded and look at the in-kind from industry, we see that somewhere between 40 and 50% of the industry in-kind is people. So year after year, for close to 15 years, the European industry have chosen to take people out of the daily work and put it into these collaborative research projects. And when we talk to our industry partners, that's really because it's an unparalleled people development mechanism. This is where we build the skills base for the European industry for the future, because it's really quite unique that you can sit together with experts from other companies and with leading academic groups and have a conversation around a specific topic in a safe and neutral space. And so that's really quite attractive for our industry partners. We also have invested quite a lot in networks and infrastructures and standards and in regulatory science. And again, I think this shows the value of this sort of neutral actor. We can look at some of our data projects like Eden, which has really championed the Odyssey standard in Europe. And the reason why it works is because you have many of the leading companies and many of the leading academic centers in a single consortia that can think about how would this European ecosystem need to be built. And so I think that's really the value proposition. And just a quick example, this is from the vaccines. But if we look at the vaccines, so they have been thinking sort of across the whole of the vaccine industry value chain for the last 10 years. What are the different components that can be developed in a pre-competitive collaborative setting? And it turns out that there was a big response to the Ebola outbreak in 2015. Some of these really made it into treatments in Africa. There's been large investments in antimicrobial resistance, but you can also see it's been looking at things like vaccine manufacturing, and we have a project now, Innofovac, that is looking at predicting the sort of long-term shelf life of some of the key components. And of course, that's really important for the manufacturing side of the industry. And we now have a set of greening projects coming in here, looking at how you can reduce, say, wastewater use or efflux from the plants. There's also been projects like PROMISE that's been looking at RSV monitoring and surveillance over Europe. And so how can you work together with the vaccine manufacturers to understand the RSV outbreaks? Another example, and I think again it shows the value of a sort of a portfolio approach and the conversations that are happening across the companies in the context of IHI. This is for lung cancer. And so there is a whole range of different projects addressing lung cancer, looking at various aspects of the disease and the mechanism. Optima has been looking at large data sets and collecting large data sets. Imago, I think, is really fascinating. It's microsurgery or image-guided microsurgery for tumor treatment. And then there is a new one, IDERA, which is looking at data use and reuse in the context of lung cancer, but actually then also connecting that to regulatory and technology assessment decision-making for the device manufacturers in that space. So it's really quite a broad and comprehensive view of a disease. And so I think I like this. I like the quote. I particularly like, actually, the two later quote. I think this on the industry expertise is crucial, and I think that's the feedback we've seen from many academic centers, in particular when they take things to a regulatory pathway. So getting a biomarker approved or supported by the EMA, of course, our industry partners have very strong regulatory departments and very strong regulatory expertise that benefit the public partners. And likewise, the last one, I think, is from a French startup that said that, well, through the IMI collaboration, in particular working with the big pharma, it took them to a point where they could get a large Series A funding from a venture capitalist, and so they were very, from a VC company, they were very happy with that. So just to finish off, I think if we look at some future partners, and I think this will tie in very nicely with the next talk from Malin, is really we'd like to work much closer with the regional healthcare system and make sure that we bring them into many projects. And you remember A.D. Riddle from a few minutes ago. I think that's really an archetype of where we would like to go. And just a plug for where we're going, and I think it's not only for upcoming calls, but I think this gives a flavor of what we think can be done together with industry, which is really the takeaway message. And I think if we look at our upcoming call, we're looking to see if we can connect different regions and cities to look at cardiovascular, both prevention and care, but also we're looking to see how you can get these regulatory sandboxes that's been discussed in the upcoming pharma regulation and really pilot those with regulators, with the industry, but also with a range of public actors and healthcare systems to understand how such a sandbox would actually operate in practice. So with that, I thank you very much for the attention.
Thank you for inviting me to present a little bit about the European Partnership for Personalized Medicine. And I will start with this slide to just show you that, of course, it's not me. We have coordinators from DLR and ANR, and Wolfgang Ballensiefen will be part of the panel later on. And I am a partner, but also a co-lead of one of the work packages focusing on accelerating further development and innovation of personalized medicine approaches. And it is led by one of our hosts here today, the Regional Ministry of Science Policy, and also EIT Health. And you see also other partners. So I wanted to start with actually the definition that is used in the partnership. It's the definition from 2015, the Council conclusions. And it's a broad definition. So we've heard that, it's the right target for the right individual at the right time. But it also is about predisposition to the disease and also how to prevent disease from occurring. I also want to say one other thing. When we talk about advanced medicinal products and really expensive precision medicines, I think we should see this as a continuum again. We're moving from empirical medicine to more of stratified medicine, precision medicine, and preventive medicine. It's not one or the other, it's a continuum. So we want to really find the right individuals that really benefit from that intervention that we offer them. And just to give you a little bit, where am I coming from? So I'm from Sweden's Innovation Agency, and our role in the system in Sweden is to support needs-driven research and innovation. And we support also, small SMEs, startups, scale-ups, but also collaborative projects, innovation environments, mission-driven innovation that aims to create system innovation. And this is something that I will briefly touch upon, and connecting this to the Swedish presidency conference that took place in June 2023. So it's really nice to be here, and we heard the Spanish presidency also present some of the results from their conference, and now we're here today. So I think that's really beautiful. And one of the things we discussed during a breakout session together with the Profit Project, and I saw Stefania is here today, is that we discussed that personalized medicine, personalized prevention is part of a system for health. And this is also part of, in one way, also part of the strategic research and innovation agenda for the European Partnership for Personalized Medicine. It's a way of really thinking, how can we create the prerequisites for the individual to really sort of have a good quality of life, a long life with health. We think that you need to work on 3 different levels. You need to work on the biology level, you also need to work on the individual behavior level, and the society environmental level. And just exemplifying what this means, like we talked about health data, we also talked about data need to be collected. We need data in a broad sense, not only genomics, omics data. No, we had the beer picture, and yeah, we need, so what are you eating? What kind of environment do you live in? Are you exposed to pollution? So exemplifying with health data, it needs to be flow in between these levels. And what we also discussed is that you need precision on the level of the individual, but you also need precision on the level of the interventions that you use, perhaps on a more societal level, in order to give that individual the possibility to make good choices. And the good choices should be the easy choice. So another way, before I really go into the personalized medicine partnership, is because this is really linked to why we have the approach we have within the partnership, is that in order to reach the full potential of personalized medicine, you really need to integrate research, innovation, development, and healthcare. This needs to be a flow of knowledge there. And why is that? Yeah, because we need to work differently. We heard about real-world data, real-world evidence. So I have a couple of quotes there, and the 2 of them are from Bettina Ryll. She is a patient advocate and also a former member of the Cancer Mission board. She says, we have to implement in order to generate evidence, meaning that when you move towards smaller and smaller patient groups, it cannot be a linear process where you validate and then implement and you're done. It has to be a continuous process. I also like the lower one, seamlessly integrating research and clinical care in a way that systematically reduces uncertainty for all decision makers. We heard about the genomic initiative in Germany where bold politicians made a decision. We need to try to make it easier for the politicians to make those decisions. So EPIM-PERMED, it gathers more than 54 partners. We are soon inviting Greece, Czech Republic, and also another Spanish region to the partnership. And it gathers mainly national and regional funders. And this we need to keep in mind. I mean, we cannot do everything. We need to sort of bring our piece to the table in this system for health. I mean, we don't have the remit to implement in healthcare, for example. But we also have EIT Health and BBMRI on board. It's a lot of money, almost 400 million euros that we co-invest the coming 7-10 years in projects, in activities that should contribute to create a system for health. And we're sort of not starting from scratch. We're building on all the investments that the Commission have already done for a long time. We're building on the ERA pyramid, which has been led by our Spanish colleagues at ISKI, over 110 projects already ongoing that we should build upon. And we have IC pyramid, which is more perhaps the policy arm, reaching out to an international context where we can build on knowledge. We can co-create advice to the system to see if we can support further development of these approaches so it really reaches the patients and the individuals and benefits society at large. And you can also see below there's a range of other initiatives that are supporting this, including Profit that I just mentioned. So here is the logo. And the logo really shows you how we're trying to work. We will work on research, we will work on innovation, and we will work on facilitating implementation, lowering the barrier for broader implementation. And this will do it because we want to improve health outcomes. We want to contribute to equal access to healthcare. We want to improve competitiveness and also really push that approaches that are effective really reach the patient. And of course, not the least, Europe at the forefront of research and innovation. And sometimes we get stuck in, what is innovation, what is implementation, and this is where I really like this, the ribbon that is a logo of the partnership. There are no strict lines, between innovation and implementation. It's continuum, so we need to find ways of really contributing to all these aspects. So and here you just see my definitions of what it is. But either way, we need to really work on this together. And as we heard the IHI, and also the system. When you see that system, you realize you need intersectorial collaborations. You also need intergovernmental co-ownership and collaboration. And I think the Spanish speaker from the presidency really showed, I really like that they had different ministries during their strategy and their approach for this flagship initiative. That was really beautiful, I think. So, trying to show you what we're going to do in the partnership. We will work on really identifying the needs. We will try to contribute to that those needs can also be guided to other offers and opportunities. We are not alone in this system. There might be other actors out there that are even better suited to address this problem or can offer funding or something else. We want to connect actors. We want, of course, to disseminate best practices and so forth, and we have to create synergies. To find the logic on this, we have then the EP Permit Radar, which is the activities that try to really put the tentacles out there to see what's going on, learn continuously what are the needs. And this is fed into the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda, portfolio analysis, stakeholder dialogues. We had yesterday a roundtable with really interesting insights. We have advisory boards and reverse technology transfer activity plan. And the accelerator is sort of working on, okay, we have the needs. Some of the needs, we try to help them and guide them to resources, capital. We heard that yesterday also, the need for venture capital to really take your ideas forward. Other funding opportunities are not say these skills and education. But we will also act within the partnership. We will have different calls where we fund third parties. Now we show you a little bit more about that. And of course, we want to also contribute to dissemination and education. And the good examples that we've seen today, we need to really help each other to disseminate these so we can learn from each other and thereby accelerate the further development of these approaches so that it reaches the patient. So to end this, you can also, the way we're trying to work now is to also then move initiatives, good ideas along the value development cycle. And this is showing you the TRL, the business readiness level. This can be sort of illustrated in different ways. But so some of the activities we will do and we will act upon is, of course, the annual joint transnational calls, which can have different flavors depending on the needs. But just exemplifying with the current call, which is called PM Targets, which is focusing on target identification, target validation, including biomarkers for personalized medicine approaches. 45 million euros, almost 300 project applications. But we will also have activities further down the value development cycle. And this is an instrument we're developing right now, which is built on EIT health experience. It's shorter, 6 months, and it's trying to really accelerate and push further development 1 TRL level up. Another type of call we are developing is a demonstration call, where in an attempt to lower the threshold for implementation, you demonstrate in a real-like setting mature solutions, but you incorporate working processes, perhaps legislation, business models, incentives, behavior, so that you can tweak the solutions that are out there in order to make them even more ready for broad implementation. So with this, I want to have just given you a taste of what's going on the coming 7 years. I mean, we started in November. We're full speed ahead, but there's still a lot to do. So ending just showing that this is really a collaborative effort, gathering many really fantastic organizations across Europe to really deliver on the vision that these personalized medicine approaches should really benefit patients, citizens, and society. So keep yourself posted and engage with us moving forward. Thank you.